Happy birthday to you, Brad. So thankful that God chose me to be your mom. So thankful that you found this little guy running around the golf course. And I wouldn't have this little guy or Gizmo without you and Barb. So I love you very much. Happy, happy birthday. Hey, Bradford Nelson Elliott. Happy 40th. My incredible nephew. Got the Dead playing in the background for you. Just celebrating the day that you and your beautiful mother came into our lives. It's one of the best things that happened in our family. Rock those 40s, shake those bones, and celebrate in the way that you know how, for sure. I love you. Mwah. Happy birthday.
Hey, little Brad. Just wanted to wish you a happy 40th birthday. And we're supposed to talk about good memories, but I'm not quite sure if I can remember all of them. But I do know that glass bowls do break, so don't trust me with one. And keep on blazing the trail, buddy. Love ya. Oh, and I'm having a boy for ya. Woohoo! Love you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm excited for our adventures, and I hope we have fun, which we probably will. And happy birthday, and I love you.
The next word I would use is resourceful. All I need to say is waffles. Brilliant.
So once, Brad, we went hiking together, and I remember that we went by a stream.
Hi, Brad. My fondest memory of you, Brad, is the hiking in Colorado and also all the beer drinking that we did. So, yeah, you're a nice guy. You're 40 years old, and good luck.
I remember we were going hiking, and like Dad said, hiking and a lot of fun stuff.
And
And
we wish he could come
we
back.
wish you can come back. Can you come back?
Because you are a lot of fun, Brad.
Yeah.
And my kids, believe it or not, they're all like in their video games. And I was like, when's Brad coming back out?
Yeah.
Aren't ya?
Yeah.
So what do you think? A big kiss?
Yeah. No, that's weird. Don't do that.
All right.
Love you. Bye, love you back, Brad, Uncle Brad, Cousin Brad.
Hey B, so happy 40th. I cannot believe you were 40 years old. I'm thinking about some memories that I have, or a lot of ones of us just growing up, from being at the Lamb Lake house and playing lava with the couch cushions with the red couch in the basement. I vaguely remember you dressing up in Mom's dress clothes and me wearing men's clothes and us doing some slow dancing in the basement. I also have lots of like kiddie memories at the farm where Dad and I one time had the igloo maker with the snow, and we built a huge blockade, and you and your friends were coming in from the pond, and we just pelted y'all with snowballs and had the best snowball fight ever. Lots of great memories from when we were a kid, and I miss you, and I love you, and I hope you're having a fabulous birthday.
By all means, I do have a lot of Brad stories, but most of them are of times both of us probably don't remember all of. But I think my favorite is the one as we got older. So I would say the night the Dead came back to play, and Barb so nicely let us turn your living room into a dance floor and live concert, and let us get our groove on, dancing and twirling all over. It was a humble moment to me, and a night I will never forget. I love your faith, heart, and spirit so much. I wish you many more years of dancing ahead.
One of my all-time favorite Bradford stories is when Brad, we were headed downtown to meet my family. You were going to meet him for the first time, my very large family, and it was my niece's 21st birthday. So we found our parking spot, and we had to walk several blocks, and you had a lot of nervous energy. So you just took off, and I was a good 10-15 feet behind you, and you got to a corner and the light changed to yellow and you literally ran across the street before I was even at the corner. So I have to wait because the light has turned red, and you turn back and realize that I'm stuck over on the other corner, and there's a guy standing there, a homeless man who is pretty dirty. Well, you start talking to this guy. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I finally am able to cross the street, and when I get up there, you two are just laughing, and the guy says something like, yeah, see, she's mad you took off without her. And so you guys were having a laugh about it, and we turn to go, and you turn to the guy and you shake his hand and you say, have a good day, brother. And we just went to meet my family. And I remember thinking, most people would avert their eyes. They wouldn't even give this dude eye contact. But you have such a gentle, caring soul, and you see beyond all of that, that you probably made this guy's day because you just treated him like anybody else would like to be treated. And I remember at that moment, I just loved that about you. And I thought, what an amazing man Bradford Elliott is. So happy birthday.
Hey Brad, just wanted to tell you happy birthday and that I love you. One of my great memories was going and watching you in the play Grease at your school. And
Happy
then
birthday.
Kelly and I would go home and reenact it all out. So much fun.
Happy birthday.
Harper wants to tell you happy birthday too. We love you.
One year on my birthday, he and Barb and the dogs were down in Florida, and he set up with rocks across a picnic table words that said, "Happy birthday, Lori." And then he proceeded to sing happy birthday to me. They sent that to me. It was very, very special. Thanks for that memory, Brad.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear amazing Lori. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
I wanted to share some of my favorite stories about Brad today. We crossed paths many, many years ago when we were both quite younger and didn't really even realize who each other were. Later, when we met again, when Brad was a little boy and I was a young mother starting to raise 3 children. And we had met out at my brother's, where Brad's dad and my brother, Daryl Brohard, worked together for many years. So, years after that, we both started working for Johnson County Special Services, and we both hung in there and were loyal professionals for many years. And during that time, I grew to know Brad better and have such a great respect for him as a man. Brad always worked with the cream of the crop children of Johnson County. It seemed like, from my perspective, that he was always given some of the most challenging people that other people hadn't been able to touch. And Brad was always able to relate to them. He treated these children with great respect, and he loved them, and he cared for them, and he was always fair. And even though the days were sometimes very rugged, Brad never lost his cool with them, and he was always able to make progress in these children's lives as far as their attitudes about the world and the way they felt about themselves and others. And for that, I'll always be indebted to Brad for the work that he did with children in Johnson County. One of my favorite memories with Brad was on the job working for Special Services, and Brad and the teachers he was working with at the time at Earlywood, in a class of very severely emotionally challenged children, decided they were going to do a career week. Well, having been a painter in a previous life, that was the job that I came in to help expose these children to. So Brad and I collected ladders and leftover paint and paintbrushes and rollers and tarps and drywall, and we decided we were going to teach these children a skill that they could use when they got out of school. So we brought all of this stuff into Earlywood, during Career Week, many people in that building were really raising their eyes and questioning, had we totally lost our minds, which I may not deny because that's been questioned before in both of our lives. But we brought our equipment in and we took these children out into the garage at Earlywood, and we gave them paint, and we gave them paintbrushes, and we gave them rollers, and they each had a huge piece of drywall that they needed to paint. And they took their ammunition and they used it well. And all of these children painted up and down and did their little W's, their ups and downs and backs and forths to fill in all the gaps, and had a lovely piece of wall finished at the end of the day. And all of those children left with smiles on their faces and their little painter hats, knowing that they now had a skill that they could take out into the world and be useful. So Brad, happy birthday, and thanks for all of the memories that we've had together, one of which I've shared on this video, many which I won't share, so you don't have to worry about that. But I hope you have a happy birthday and a blessed year, and enjoy all the years ahead. Thanks.
Hi Brad, happy birthday. Come visit South soon, you Jesus-loving deadhead.
The next word I would use for Brad is soulful. He's the kind of friend that God would be really proud of. He's there for people who don't always have friends, and he's there for those of us who need him in the darkest times. In that, my memory is the fact that at times when things have been really challenging, Brad has the most soulful prayers of anyone I've ever heard. He really is a good prayer man. He lives it and he breathes it. And yes, Brad, God would be very proud of you.
Hey Brad, how you doing? It's your favorite uncle. Hey, you know what? Mary and Sam and Will and I and Caroline all wanted to send you a nice video on your birthday. And like we have done in the past, we procrastinated and didn't get it done. But I'm up at the Mayo Clinic right now having some tests done on my heart, and it dawned on me we didn't do it, so I wanted to just tell you a little message. You're turning 40, I can't believe it. Man, I remember when you were born, and I remember holding you as a little kid. I've still got a picture at home of holding you on a hammock. You're on my chest, and you're just a little bit of a guy, you know, about 1.5 feet long. Anyway, man, I love you. My family loves you so much, and you know what? I'm not surprised that you turned out the way you did. And I mean by that, just a warm, loving guy with a big, big heart and full of a passion for life. And the reason I'm not surprised you turned out that way is because you're made from some great genes. My brother and your mommy, Jane, who's always been someone special in my heart and always will be, makes me realize why you turned out the way you did, to be such a great guy. So just know, man, we love you and we're proud of you. And I always feel like when we get together, I always say to myself, man, I got to get together with Brad more often because we have a lot of fun. Anyway, buddy, love you so much. Stay happy. Keep making good decisions. And I'll talk to you later. Love you, Brad. Bye-bye.
Okay, so this is about 10 years ago. We were hiking in Colorado and we got lost. And we come to this hill, this very steep hill, and you are just flying down this hill, and I was much more cautious than you were. But you're about 30 feet in front of me, and I end up falling and hitting my tailbone really hard and hurting myself. So I stop and I'm crying, and you turn around and see that I'm crying, and you say, I hope you're crying because it's beautiful. And the only response I can give you is no, because I was upset, hurt, and crying. Well, I finally get up and we make it down the hill. Then we get on a game trail, which was a little bit scary. I remember you're whistling when the Saints come marching in case there are any big cats lurking in the area. But we finally make it back to camp. And when we get back to camp, you say, hey, you know, you got a really big hole in the back of your pants. I was so angry at you at that moment. I turn around and I go, no shit, Sherlock. Anyway, that was a great adventure that day, and I can't believe we actually started dating after that. Love you.
Hey, my dear nephew Brad. First of all, happy 40th birthday. And 40 years ago, I was only 22 years old. I remember standing in the kitchen in San Diego. It seems like it was about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, West Coast time, and I got the call that you were born. And I couldn't have been happier or more proud. I couldn't believe I was old enough to be an aunt, but I was, and I still am. And I just want to tell you, Brad, how much I love spending time with you, with the family. And it seems that we've had more times in the last few years than we've had in all of your 40 years. And it just means a lot. I loved seeing you with Grandpa, and how you are with him and how he is with you. It was really special. You took a big load off my shoulders because he needed so much love and care that only you can give like that. So anyway, happy birthday. I love you. And here's to many, many, many more birthdays and many, many more family times. Love you. Have a great time.
Hey, babe, it's me, your mom. Hey, happy birthday to you. Happy big 4-0. What a treat this is to think about for the past couple of months, my favorite memories of you, and there's been so many. But I just wanted to share a couple from when you were little. I think my favorite memories are from White Lake and that little piece of heaven down there in Princess Lakes. And just in the summertime, going up to the top of the hill and watching you climb those trees, you'd get a big running start and just fling your arms wide and straddle the tree, splat and shimmy up it and get to the very tippy top of those huge trees in no time. Loved watching you, and so did our neighbor Mary, loved watching you too climb up those. And then you'd come home from school and come from the bus, run down the hill to the cabin and climb up the V tree, sit on the tree floor your daddy made you and debrief, decompress for a few minutes like you still need to do. For 30 minutes or so before you'd come in, and just your times with Haniel. And I'd see you leave about 8 o'clock in the morning in the summer, and Haniel would run in for lunch and be back out till dark. So those are just some wonderful memories I have of you.
Obviously, it's his unbelievably awesome dancing.
His dancing.
His epic dance moves.
Love the dancing. True, honest, unique individual. Going with the music, feeling it all.
What comes to mind when I think of Brad? Probably his dancing. It's not necessarily a good memory. It's more one of those, well, I can't unsee that kind of a memories. You have to see it to believe it, but I honestly would not recommend that. I think you're better off without it.
His dancing.
Hands down, Brad has the most original moves on the dance floor.
Well, I think your dance moves are pretty legendary, and I actually think that the phrase dance like no one is watching was actually invented for you, Bradford Elliott.
My story is the first story that I have of you, and it basically involves a dream, like a vision that I had the night before that you were born. You were about due, but I had this very clear vision that you were going to be born that day, and that you were a boy, and that everything was okay. We've been worrying about your health and everything like most new parents do. So I woke up in the middle of the night, just laid there for a minute. Your mom woke up a minute or two later and started to say something, and she said, "Brad," and I said, "You're feeling like you're going into labor, aren't you?" And she said, "Yeah, how did you know that?" And I said, because I just had a vision. Everything is fine. It's a boy, and there's going to be no problems. So that's my first story of you. Happy birthday, Brad. I love you.
Another memory I have is when me, you, and Terry went whitewater rafting in Colorado. And of course, Terry being blind, you did not hesitate that he was going to go on this adventure with us. And I just think that goes to show you treat all human beings with respect. And you know, you're working special education for 17 years. You worked with some very difficult kids, and you loved all those kids. And the way you just treat people with genuine kindness and concern, and I think that just speaks so much about you as a man.
Okay, you're on.
Hi, Brad. Happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday. This is the second time we've done this because the first time it was too long to send. So now we're trying to, and I'm not going to go into a lot of things that I did yesterday, except to say that you and I and Grandpa had so much fun up at the cottage at Guthrie Lakes, and many, many, many memories on the motorcycles, the pontoon,
Camper,
going in the camper,
Mackinac Island.
You name it. Yeah, Grandpa just threw in Mackinac Island. I suppose you remember when we went to Mackinac Island and you drove we had rented one of those carriages that you drove by yourself, and you drove it, of course. And the fun we had there in that resort where we stayed.
Mission Point?
Mel, please. So it was lots of fun, and a lot of good memories, and I'm sure you've got lots of memories that I hope you remember a lot of things that I'm sure you do. What am I saying? But anyway, happy 40th birthday. I can't believe 40 years have gone by. I was just 44 when you were born, so I was a real young grandma. I love you, Grandpa loves you, and thank you so much for all the wonderful memories, and God bless you, honey.
Love you.
That memory is the time that Brad and Barb came over to our house to swim. Well, you know, we had a lot of playful moments within that day. However, the best one was when he randomly, out of the complete blue, mooned us all. That was playful. And I gotta say, he's kind of got a cute butt. That was good too.
So sitting in Nicaragua right now, and just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. I was thinking about some memories that we had, and some of my favorites have been just our car rides to school when I was in 6th grade and you were a senior, and we would take your gold Jeep and drive it from the farm into Indian Creek, and the song we would play over and over again was "We Don't Need No Education." And I would have my tie-dye shirt on, my hippie hair, my Chuck Taylors, just trying to be like my big brother. I love you so much, and you've always been one that, as a kid, I just respected and admired and just thought was so cool, and always wanted to be just like you. So I still think you're a pretty freaking cool dude. I love you, and I hope I see you soon.
Okay, another memory. This has to do with that music you got in them bones. Hey, we loved, and I say we because it's your dad and I and your sister, we absolutely loved watching you in the plays at Indian Creek High School. Loved it when you were Kanicki, especially. That was such a blast with Grease and Arsenic and Old Lace and Aladdin and Show Choir. Just absolutely loved watching you sing and dance on stage. And still love watching you dance. Don't hear you sing much, but I love watching you dance still. I remember the time that the theater director had it with all you guys in the plays, so she decided to cast an all-girl play called Nonsense, and that didn't stop you. You still tried out. You tried out for Mother Superior. So anyway, that's the role you wanted. But you didn't get that part, but you did get another part in the all-girl play. You got the part of the puppet, the narrator. So anyway, I love you, sweetie.
Hey man, we were just discussing your life, our lives.
Get too deep.
And we one thing we were talking about, one thing we both remember is doing the video games. Used to have the weekends where we would do the Tiger Woods skins.
Madden.
I'd take all your asses and take all your money, just all weekend long. I'd get home at like Sunday late. Keely'd be pissed, whatever. Hanging out with the boys, and then Jason was telling me about Madden.
Good times.
So I was kind of waiting on him to say something there, but
I have some cute and sweet and funny things to say about Brad because he's always been cute and sweet. But I'd like to talk about Brad as a man. He was here a few weeks ago. He came to see his grandfather and to help. And he did. He brought sunshine and joy and happiness into the house. And he didn't look at the caregiver when Bob needed something. And he didn't look at me. He jumped up and he said, "Grandpa, do you have to go to the bathroom? Do you have to go to the bedroom?" And he'd have a joke and he'd laugh and he'd be cute. And he'd ask him if he wanted to go for a drive, get him out of the house, give him some joy, some happiness. He was a delight to have around, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Brad, of what you've become, your empathy and your kindness and your sweetness. It's never changed, and you've become a lovely man. And I wish you happy birthday, this birthday and all birthdays.
Well, I need to tell a story about Brad Elliott, a memory. There's many stories I could tell you about Brad Elliott, but I'll keep it PG because this is the World Wide Web and it never goes away. I think the memory that most defines Brad Elliott to me is the time my brother Gary Blessing was in the hospital and got a transplant. Brad was at school or someplace. I might have been school, college, but and we were all in Gary's room after his transplant, and we were all elated about it, and we were talking about Brad and how he would respond. Everybody was going to say he's going to break down crying because he's emotional, good-hearted, and tears of joy. And when he come into the room, big smile on his face, and the moment he seen Gary was that moment that he just kind of broke into happy tears and was so elated. And to me, that's Brad. Brad is full of love, and I think that's what guides him in life. His passions for all the things that he may do, good or bad, but it's Brad in a nutshell. And if I have to describe him to anybody, I just say he's a ray of love. And I love him very much. Happy birthday, Brad. Many, many more. And I hope you're going out and rattling those old bones, celebrating your birthday. Bye-bye.
I gotta tell you, when you were a baby, you were pretty darn cute. And your mom and my mom, my family, everybody, I guess, we were doing a road trip from Florida to, I don't even know where, but we stopped at a gas station and my mom ran in and probably my dad, and Aunt Jane was left alone in the car with me and you and Rob and your poopy diaper, and it had diarrhea, and I was like freaking out, like screaming in the back, and your mom, Aunt Jane, got mad and she dipped her finger in the poop in the diaper and touched my nose with it. So I gotta tell ya, someday I'm gonna get you back for that. Paybacks. All right, well, I love you, and there's lots of great stories, Brad Ford, as you were known in the mountains when we went searching for you. But we love you, and I hope your 40th is awesome. You're always going to be my little cousin, so we do love you, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy birthday. Bye.
Another great Brad memory, and this is kind of like a combination of memories, is just the evolution of Brad as a pet parent. So Brad, when you first moved in and my house became our house, I had the 3 dogs, Hammy, Marina, and Oliver, and I remember us arguing a lot about you telling me that, you know, dogs are, I'm a country boy, and, you know, dogs out in the country, they want to be outside, and these dogs need to be outside. And I would say, these are city dogs, and they want to be with their pack, and we are their pack. So you can put them outside, but they're not going to want to stay outside. So we argued about this a lot. And what would happen? Yep, that is exactly what would happen. But you finally got used to the dogs. I love the fact that you taught Marina and Hammy how to fetch. Hammy became pretty obsessed with the ball and was pretty ball crazy. But also, the other thing that really sticks in my mind is Oliver. And when Oliver was diagnosed with thyroid adenocarcinoma, he was given 6 months to live as best case scenario. And I remember you saying, well, he's got 6 months. He is going to know nothing but love and an affection during those 6 months. And, you know, Oliver, who was raised in a shelter, stayed there for 5 whole years. He didn't have love and affection. He had his basic needs met, but he really wasn't anyone's pet. So you spent a lot of time petting and loving on Oliver. And I really think that's the reason that not only did Oliver last beyond his 6 months, but he lasted for about 4 years without any treatment. And I know our vet was astounded at that. And I think that that is all due to your love and devotion to that dog. But the funniest thing during that time was you would sit down in your recliner and you kind of made a monster out of Oliver because he became very demanding with the attention, because he was pretty much used to getting it all the time from you. You would come home from work and that was like your part-time job, just to pet Oliver. But you would be sitting in the recliner and petting Oliver, and after quite a while you'd tell him, I'm done, and you'd wave your hands, and sometimes you'd have to tell him a couple times, I'm done. Well, Oliver would walk away, and I watched this for quite a while. He would literally make one lap around the coffee table and come back to you, and you would just start petting him again. And it took you quite a while to figure out that you told him that you were done, but he'd make one lap and he'd come right back around and he would get petting again. So that always cracked me up, how much you love that boy. But then I think about when Layla the cat came into our lives. Not that I'm a cat person, but I cannot stand to see an animal suffer. So, you know the story. I was feeding Layla, and finally after 6 months she let me pick her up. So I picked her up and threw her in a crate and rushed her off to the vet and was determined to find a home for her. And you were pretty against letting a cat step its foot in our house, but it took about 2 months, and then I finally had someone contacted me that there were 2 great potential homes that wanted to adopt Layla. And when I told you that, I figured you would be excited that we would be getting this cat out of the house. And I remember you told me that there is no way in hell we are getting rid of that cat, that she was officially ours. So you've really evolved over the years as a pet lover and an animal lover, and I love the fact that I know that you love the animals as much as I do, and they are part of our tribe.
Hey, Brad. Happy birthday. I miss you. I love to see your posts on Facebook, and that's one of the things I love about you is your sweet spirit, your love for nature, your love for animals. You just, when we worked together at the intermediate school, it didn't matter what kind of day I had, you could put a smile on my face. I miss you, and I hope you have the best birthday ever. Love you.
3.
Happy birthday, Brad. I can't believe you're 40 years old already. What I remember about you especially is back in 1980, we moved to Bloomington, and you and your mom came down almost every single weekend for 2 years, from 1980 to 82, till we moved to Texas. And that's when we just fell in love with you. You were the cutest kid and so much fun. And
Well, most of the time.
well, there's your Uncle Bob. Most of the time. But what I remember too is you singing "The Good Old Boys," never meaning no harm. And all I can remember is got in trouble with the law since the day they was born, or something like that. But you knew every single lyric.
You
to
loved that show on Friday nights, Brad.
You really did, and it was just so much fun to have you. But anyway, we love you so much, and just want to wish you the very happiest 40th birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Bye, Brad.
Hey, Brad. Way too many stories and memories to name just one. I mean, you started out as a rapper with this song, to putting socks in Kelly's pillow, to us putting frogs in Grandma's tent and everybody's tent and us getting in trouble. We used to swing on vines and break them. I mean, there's way too many stories. Always been fun hanging out with you and being around you. Love and miss you, and happy 40th birthday. I hope you have 40 more years of good memories. Love you, Brad.
I just want to share a couple of memories that I think would have been your dad's favorite memories of you. Without a doubt, it would have to be the all-out paintball wars that went on for many, many years with you and all his brothers and friends and your friends, all those late nights at the farm where wake up in the morning and look out at the house and there's red and blue paint all over the house. And although the first time you went out with him, I think you were in middle school, you ended up in the ER. But anyway, he loved you so much and he loved playing with you. He was a great dad to play, sledding, dirt biking. I'm sure he just has so many great memories of you.
Hey B, so another one of my favorite memories is when we first got you on the surfboard in Virginia Beach last summer. And I tried to show you how to paddle and pop up, but you weren't really taking instructions real well. And you ended up getting out in the water and putting the board horizontal and you laying across the top and just letting it drift you all the way down basically to the pier. Funniest thing I've ever seen, maybe. Or the other time that was cracking me up about you was when we were at the adventure park, which I love this memory of us. And we were just going through it, we were having a ball, challenging ourselves, and you always tried to do the different challenges in a way that you thought would be easier, but against the grain. It's kind of how you've always lived your life. Sometimes it is easier and works out for you quite well, and sometimes you learn the hard way. And on this particular challenge, when you were trying to get across the ropes, hilarious. Love you.
One of my favorite Bradford memories is when you said to me, quote, "You are like a dude with boobs," end quote. And I know that was a compliment. You were telling me that because you love the fact that I love football. And also you were always telling me how I was not the BS drama that seems so prevalent in the dating scene. So thanks for the compliment, honey. Love you.
Deuce, this is your grandpa. I've been waiting to get a hold of you. I call you, but I never get it. I always get that tape, and it sounds like some hillbilly from Tennessee. So I don't get in touch with you very often. But hope you and Barbara are doing well. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. Hope you get another year in before you ruin your stomach with beer. I don't think you drink anymore, do you? Well, you're a better boy than I was. Took me 89 years to figure that out. See you later, little buddy. But I love you, and I always have loved you, and I always will.